If I could be any character for one day, who would I be? That's the weirdest question in the world. Of any character, I don't know. I'd be Waspinator, but I'd get hurt a lot. I'd be Rat Trap, but I'd be running away a lot. I could be Silverbolt, but I'd be stupid a lot. Or I could be Dinobot and I'd be dead a lot. You know what, I mean, I'm probably more like Waspinator in the real world than anything else, so why not? I would be Waspinator for a day! Waspinator have Eddie Guinness. Plus he got the best closing line of any series anywhere, so. Waspinator happy at last. This little coconut, that made me laugh because we didn't know that was coming. Until we recorded, Rachel was like, oh. They never told us stuff. I didn't know Dinobot was gonna die. Dinobot knew that he was going to die 5 episodes earlier. Choppy, I'm not. And I'm just like, white noise. To suffer the slings of, and the rest is silence. Well, that's cool. I died. When do I come back?
You don't, Scott. You're dead.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like cartoon dead, right?
No, you're dead, Dave.
Yeah, I'm dead.
Dead.
But I come dead. There goes a quarter of my paycheck. And everyone else was laughing hysterically, my peers and associates. It's like, I'm trying to die in here! I was acting. And then that was also, I mean, to go right back to that first con experience, Code of the Hero had just aired. And people were coming up to me in tears. I mean, people were genuinely distressed and moved, and you know, I don't know, Dinobot died. You know, and they also said, but please don't let them cheapen his death by, you know, making it a cartoon death and bringing him back. And I'm like, oh, trust me, he's dead. And they brought him back.
With doing multiple voices, do they get recorded in isolation, or do you often end up talking to yourself?
I end up talking to myself.
And how unusual is that for you?
Ask my team of doctors. Everybody else is been like, oh, okay, we're going out for coffees. Let's go one of his scenes. The whole Dinobot Rat Trap, bicker. And it was just like, because it's funner to do it that way, and you know, as long as you don't overlap the lines. That's a little industry joke. So, I mean, sometimes it depends on the show. There are some where I've split things up just because it gets too weird trying to bounce things back and forth. But on Beast Wars specifically, I would just run it. It's just catharsis for me. It's like therapy. Whee!
Hi.
Hi.
When you do get a job for a character, where do you get your inspiration? I mean, do you look for real people that you know, or is it just something you make up in the hidden?
Sometimes. It comes from all sorts of weird places. I mean, sometimes it's because you heard a creaking door someplace, and it was like, and you went, oh, that's a really cool sound. I'll cite Ian Corlett. Ian, I was working with him on something else, and he had this brilliant character he kind of pulled out of his butt. It was hysterically funny. It's just so weird and so quirky. And when we were done, it was like, Ian, where the hell did that come from? He goes, oh, that's my Uncle Ted. I just did my Uncle Ted. So wherever, you know, it's a mercenary business. We are polyphonic prostitutes. We want to get the work we can. So, you know, we take what we can. I guarantee you, I may be stealing your voice or yours somewhere. You never know. The more you've got in your repertoire. I'd actually randomly met a guy in a place in Vancouver. You know, he happened to be from Gloucester, sir, and he had this sort of an accent there. And it's not one you often hear in Canada, so I was sitting there picking his ears a little bit, just talking to him. I got a call 2 days later from somebody for a commercial, and they went, we need someone that could do kind of a Gloucester accent. I went, okay, I did it, and we're like, wow. I ran into him about 4 days later, and I just bought him a beer, and he said, what's that for you? I said, well, I stole your personality or your voice, didn't I? And I got paid nicely for it, so here's your cut. Thanks, Pete. I have the worst mic technique of anybody that's been working for 22 years. I'm like, that's what's known as a percussive. And we don't like to do that in the theater, in the recording studio. Yes?
Hi. If you did get the voice for like Inferno or Quick Strike, could you give us an example of how you make them sound?
Oh boy. I wouldn't make him sound as good as Colin or Jim did. For the royalty! We now know your sad wander short. That's just Slim Pickens, you know, that's like taking an old impression from a 40s movie star. It's just, Jim has his own personality and flair. I couldn't do it. I mean, obviously, or I would have got the role, and they do it. They made those roles sing. I wouldn't touch them. It's so weird. I see a gun waving in the back. Are we still?
I was just wondering, how would Dinobot start a fight with Grimlock?
We did that last night. I don't want to play Grimlock, I spy! And then Grimlock would just step on him. Grimlock smash! I surrender. Grimlock was huge! Pick a fight with him. He wouldn't. Dinobot's not that dumb. Noble, yes. Not dumb. Silverbolt, tell me. Dark poison of my heart. That's all he ever saw in his head.
When you done Jetfire for Armada and Energon, were you actually disappointed in not doing them for Cybertron?
What was really strange about that, because yeah, I enjoyed playing Jetfire on that. It was, you know, come on, let's get in there. Jetfire transform! I got to be, you know, sort of second in command cool here. When the series changed up and it was different producers, they went, okay, we've got a different idea for Jetfire. We want to make him Australian. Guess who's the one Australian voice actor working in Canada? Guess who didn't get to read for the bloody role? They went with Brian Bloody Drummond, which turned out beautifully, but it was like, oh come on, I'm freaking Australia! It's a funny business.
Are you still affiliated with Ocean voice dubbing, or have you left it already?
Well, it's sort of an anime thing, but I will address this briefly because people have this sort of misconception, especially, you know, people in the States where I do a lot of anime cons and whatnot, and I guess over here. Through no fault of your own, but there is no such thing as like the Ocean Group. There is no collective cartel of actors that works only for Ocean. Ocean is one of many studios in Vancouver. They're one of many different production houses. They do happen to be locally based. So, you know, getting back to the polyphonic prostitute thing, we work wherever. You know, wherever we get hired, we work. And boys will travel. So I still do work at Ocean. We're doing Inuyasha there now. You know, it's just you're in different studios every day, and sometimes many different studios in the course of a single day. On a good day, that's the day when the tax man goes, "You're making money." Yes.
With Beast Wars and then Beast Machines, because I think Gary Shaw was saying yesterday he wasn't a massive fan of Beast Machines. But with you, because it was going from 4 characters down to 1 rat trap, and bringing back Silverbolt, obviously, not such a personality change. Were you a fan of that, or did you?
We refer to Beast Machines as the bad thing. The thing that never should have happened. Or should have been done completely, you know, they just like wipe out, have different people play everything. Not many of us were happy with the way things were going in Beast Machines. I mean, as a mercenary, I'm always happy. It's like, oh cool, a character of mine is coming back. None of us knew what the hell was going on in that show. They didn't tell us. It was like 14 episodes of, what the hell is happening? They got to take a hugging tree. They don't want to be dead anymore. And then by the time they finally kind of got things rolling on that show, it had lost all possible momentum. I thought it was a cool looking show. Like the designs, I think Black Arachne looked hot. The model for Cheetor, Rat Trap finally looked like a rat instead of a mouse. But yeah, it was sadly a flawed show because I think we wanted it to be great. We wanted it to be very, very cool. And it had elements. I mean, there are people that do like it. And I've seen stuff in it that I thought was very cool. It just didn't. The thing that made Beast Wars so great was purely two men, Larry and Bob, who did the writing, and they made the show work. It made sense. Beast Machines, I mean, at least from our point of view, for we are simple actors, we're going like, what the hell? We never knew. And that's going straight onto YouTube and I'll never work again.
As a kid, I never